The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Tuesday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, do yourself a favor and check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. They got a great sales department, a great service department, and oh, by the way, they also have a great finance department. So if you are looking to purchase a new or slightly used automobile, before you put pen to paper, make sure that you go to Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown and give them an opportunity to earn your business. Believe me when I tell you, kids, you are not going to be disappointed if you do this. All right, 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. All right, the play-in games are going to be played on Thursday. The NCAA tournament gets underway officially 2 days from now. The play-in games are going to be played, 2 games at the Mackey Arena, which is in West Lafayette, which is just outside of Indianapolis. And 2 games will be played in Bloomington, in Assembly Hall, which is on the campus of Indiana University. Those are 2 of the 6 places which will be housing all of the NCAA tournament basketball games. Again, the play-in games are Thursday, and the tournament starts for real on Friday and Saturday with first-round games, Sunday and Monday with the second-round games. And then you have the Sweet 16, which will take place, I believe, on Friday and Saturday. If I'm not mistaken, Friday and Saturday. Yeah, well, hold on a second. When's it, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? No, it's going to be Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, the Sweet 16. The Elite 8 on Monday and Tuesday, March the 29th and 30th, and then the Final 4, April 3rd on a Saturday, and then the National Championship game on a Monday, April the 5th. These are the 6 places that will be housing the NCAA tournament games. Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is on the campus of Butler. This is where the movie Hoosiers was basically this was basically the premise of Hoosiers. Milan High School wound up winning a state championship, and that inspired the movie Hoosiers. Well, those games were played at Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is on the campus of Butler University, which is in Indianapolis. Assembly Hall, on the campus of Indiana University in Bloomington. Mackey Arena, which is over in West Lafayette. That's the home of Purdue. The Indiana Farmers Coliseum in Indianapolis. That's where the recently concluded Horizon League tournaments were. Bankers Life Fieldhouse. That's where the Indiana Pacers play their games. And then, of course, the Final Four will be at Lucas Oil Stadium. So Lucas Oil Stadium will be doing the Final Four, the 2 semifinal games and the national championship game. But the 5 places that are going to be housing all of these games are going to be outside of either at Indianapolis or outside of Indianapolis by a little smidge, maybe an hour or so. So this is going to be an interesting tournament. By the way, we do have a, I guess it's a competition. All of us are going to be filling out a bracket. We're taking part in the ESPN tournament bracket. It's you can go to ESPN and then look up our information along the way. It's I'm going to be filling out a bracket probably tomorrow. I still have to get some information. I got an idea what I'm looking at, but I don't. I'm not ready to throw out anything yet. We'll talk a little bit about that if you wish. Yesterday was day 1 of the tampering portion of the NFL free agency, and it's interesting that you're going to get all of this stuff that was passed along to the folks. This guy signs here, that guy signs there. None of it's official, of course, until the NFL season officially opens up, and I believe that's either tomorrow or Thursday. But this is the time of year where you can kind of sort of make deals right now, and it doesn't, nothing's official until the season opens up. But the Steelers, they've been looking to do some things. Well, unfortunately, the Steelers are in salary cap hell, and there's not a lot that they can do. The Browns have been looking for a pass rusher, and apparently all the pass rushers are now gone. They were taken pretty quickly, but the Browns did get some help, desperately needed help in the back part of their defense, where they have allegedly agreed to terms with safety John Johnson III. He spent 4 years with the Los Angeles Rams. He's a solid player. And he has apparently going to go across the country, and he is going to play with the Browns. And the Browns are starting to get a little bit better in the back 7. They still got a lot of work to do. They got to find someone opposite Ward at cornerback that's not going to be injured all the time. The Browns do have a couple of guys that hopefully Grant Delpit is one of those guys. He ruptured an Achilles tendon in training camp. We'll see if he comes back. Greedy Williams, he sat out the year. I guess he damaged a nerve in his shoulder. He has been kind of a mess injury-wise. But if these two guys get back, all of a sudden the secondary looks pretty good. Now, again, I don't know what Greedy Williams brings to the table because we haven't seen him enough to know what he does bring to the table. He's unproven. So is Grant Delpit, for that matter. But the one guy that is not, he's a proven commodity, and that's John Johnson III. He'll make the safeties that much better for the Browns. And that was a good signing for the Browns. Unfortunately, they're out of options when it comes to pass rushers. They were looking at Carl Lawson. Lawson signed a deal last night with the New York Jets, so he's out. Von Miller this morning agreed to go back to Denver, so he's out. And a couple of other players that they kept their eye on, they all signed on the dotted line, unofficially, of course. They signed on the dotted line yesterday. So it would appear the only way the Browns are going to be able to get a pass rusher is if they give up some draft capital, and that's not out of the realm of possibility. definitely not out of the realm of possibility. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If the Browns, again, they have some work to do. They most definitely have some work to do. And again, the other part of this equation is the draft. And obviously, you can help yourself tremendously in the draft. Now, unlike previous years, the Browns are not going to be drafting in the top 10. They were good last year. They're actually drafting in the, I think, 26th, if I'm not mistaken. So they're way down in the pecking order because they were a playoff team last year, and because of the fact that they advanced into the divisional playoffs. The higher you go into the playoffs, the lower your draft is. The Bills are drafting 30th because, well, they were the best team to lose in the championship game, conference championship game. So they're drafting 30th. Where Kansas City's drafting 31, Tampa Bay, the defending Super Bowl champs, they're going to be drafting number 32. I'm happy with what the Bills have done. I'm actually impressed with what my Bills did. They were up against the cap, and yet they were able to get all of the guys that were going to be free agents. They signed them all, re-signed them all, and wow, absolutely incredible. So I'm pretty happy as a Bills fan. But around here, the Steelers, I honestly don't know what they're going to be able to do. I think they have 20 unrestricted free agents. And again, the Steelers, they don't have a lot of money to play with. This is one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to see the Steelers get away from Ben Roethlisberger was because all the money that they would have saved. Now, unfortunately, they believe they can make one more run at this. And by the way, speaking of the Steelers, they did re-up Kevin Colbert to a 1-year extension. His contract runs through the 2022 NFL draft. And I got a feeling that this is going to be it. Not only for Roethlisberger at the end of the 2021 season, I think this is going to be it for Colbert after the 2022 NFL draft. I have a strange feeling that this is the last year of what we've been seeing out of Pittsburgh for, I don't know, the last 15 years, I suppose. That you're about to get a whole new look. And that's not a bad thing. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what they do here in the offseason. You've already seen Bud Dupree leave. Late last night, he signed a contract with the Tennessee Titans. So he is gone. There's a better-than-average chance Juju Smith-Schuster is gone as well. They have internally brought in Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator. Marquise Pouncey and Vance McDonald are both retiring. You have an unrestricted free agent at left tackle in Villanueva. This might be a year of transition for the Steelers. I don't know what to think about this team. I really don't. I'll be curious to see what they do in the draft. And again, the Steelers, they went to the playoffs. Now, they were eliminated by the Browns of all teams. So they're going to be drafting in the low 20s. But, again, this is a team that's in more of a transition where the Browns, I think the Browns are about to meet the Steelers as they're going in opposite directions. Now, the difference between the two, I don't ever see the Steelers going into the deep, dark areas that the Browns were in. Browns were in some pretty deep, dark areas, mainly because their ownership group was a mess, and the fact that they were hitting the reset button so damn often. I don't think the Steelers will do that. The Steelers have been a model franchise since 1972, when they first went to the playoffs. So this is not going to be one of those hit the reset button. We're going to go into a 3-13, 2-14 type of dark area before rebuilding again. I don't see the Steelers ever doing that. I think their idea of rebuilding might be 1 year in which they go 6-10 or 7-9, but then they're back into the playoffs. And that's their idea of rebuilding, which clearly the Browns, the Browns were in a really, really bad place. But fortunately, they've hit pay dirt on their general manager, and their owner has finally shut the hell up and allowed the inmates, allowed the people that he has hired to do their job, which is one of the reasons why the Browns are now becoming a franchise that isn't going to be part of that deep, dark area that they were in a few years ago. So we can talk a little bit about that. We're about 2 weeks away, give or take a day or so, from opening day. If you're an Indians fan, if you're a Pirates fan, hell, if you're a fan of any team in Major League Baseball, hit me up. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline is open, 330-886-0813. Hit me up and we can talk some baseball. I'm looking forward to the season. And I'm cautiously optimistic about the Indians. I do believe the Central Division it's something the Indians could win, but they're going to have to get some really good production out of some of the kids. And then they're going to have to really get a big year from Ramirez, get a big year from Franmil Reyes, a couple of other players, obviously Rosario, the pickup from Minnesota. He is going to be incredibly important as well. I think that the Indians could steal this division because they have more than enough pitching, and pitching is a big part of baseball, and the Indians they're there. Pitching-wise, they're there. It's offensively is where everyone needs to hold their breath, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Pirates, this is a rebuild. This is definitely a rebuild, and truth be told, and I've said this a couple of times, this is something that should have been done a couple of years ago. The farm system was a mess. They finally got around to fixing it by trading away talent that they believed was not going to be around when this team was ready to compete again and contend for a Central Division crown. So they have traded away that talent, and they're starting to rebuild from the farm system, and we'll go from there. Now, the Pirates farm system, I got the 2021 prospect handbook from Baseball America, and Baseball America has the Pirates farm system at 14, I believe. It's a little low for me. That's a little low. I was thinking more on the lines of 11 or 10. But, obviously they have a much better feel for minor league baseball than I do. It's been a while since I've been around minor league baseball, but obviously there's room to grow. Pirates will be selecting first in the MLB draft. And by the way, the draft league coming up in a couple of months, and we will be your home for Mahoning Valley Scrappers baseball as part of the Major League Baseball Draft League. Looking forward to that season. Certainly looking forward to seeing all the talent, the college and high school eligible, draft eligible players that are going to take part in this league. And in theory, I should say, the league is going to be such where if you play really, really well, your draft stock is going to rise. Think of this draft league as a longer version of the combine in the National Football League. Now, they don't have a combine this year because of COVID. But if you recall, the Combine, or as I like to call it, the Underwear Olympics, everyone is pretty much going to be in the Combine. Everyone is pretty much looked at in different phases. You get the 40-yard dash, you get the vertical jump, you got the cone drill, you got the weightlifting, you got all this other stuff, and general managers and scouts and everyone and their brothers shows up, watches this stuff, and they determine who is going to be rising in the draft based upon the Underwear Olympics, instead of, well, I don't know, looking at film and seeing how these guys perform on the field, instead of how they perform without shoulder pads and without all the other pads and just in their skivvies. I don't get it, but whatever. This one's going to be a little more detail. Think about it. You have no aluminum bat. Now, I understand that the aluminum bats are close or really close to the wooden bat with a composite aluminum bats. I get it, but it's still not a wooden bat. And there still is a difference between a wooden bat and an aluminum bat. So you have a wooden bat now instead of an aluminum bat, and you're going up against guys that are going to be draft eligible. Your contemporaries, if you will. You're no longer, if you're a Division I Power 5 conference team, you're not going to be taking on mid-majors. And to be honest, the majority of kids that are nowhere near the talent. You know, you can be draft eligible, but you may not have enough talent to even sniff the draft, let alone be invited into this league. And this is where I think things are going to be interesting. PBR, the Prep Baseball Report, and Major League Baseball will be a part of this, and they're going to be inviting the best of the best draft-eligible college and high school baseball players. So you're going to be going up against the best of the best of the best. And obviously, if you really do well in this league, there's going to be scouts all over the place. And I would imagine farm directors will be showing up every so often, and they're going to be looking at all the talents. And the beautiful thing is there's only 6 teams in this draft league. And our area has one of those teams. And I've said this with all due respect. The New York Penn League was a fun league. It is, and it was. New York Penn League was a fun league. And Lord knows, we've seen an awful lot of talent coming out of the New York Penn League through the years that have gone on, albeit 3-4 years down the road, to be future Cleveland Indians. I mean, the Scrappers were the Indians affiliate from beginning to end of the New York Penn League franchise. And there were a lot of guys that graduated from Mahoning Valley on the lower rung of the minor league ladder, and they achieved their ultimate goal of playing in Major League Baseball. But the talent level in the Major League Baseball Draft League is going to far exceed the talent level that we saw on a year-in, year-out basis in the New York Penn League. The New York Penn League was comprised of high school kids that were recently drafted and Latin American kids that were picked up via free agency, because there is no worldwide draft. If you're a player who was born or currently lives outside of the United States and Puerto Rico, you can sign anywhere as a free agent. There is no worldwide draft. It's just the draft is for American-born kids or kids that lived in the island of Puerto Rico, which is an American territory. If you're in the Dominican, if you're in Venezuela, if you're in Colombia, Mexico, Nicaragua, if you got out of Cuba and have gone to one of these countries or were lucky enough to go from Havana to Miami, you can be signed as a free agent because you weren't born in the States, you weren't part of the American draft. The foreign players, they're not part of it, so they sign up contracts. So there will be no foreign players in this draft league. A lot of the kids in the New York Penn League rosters were kids that, and there were some high draft picks. There were also some organizational players. Top to bottom, I think the talent level is going to be better with this draft league than what we have seen on a year-in, year-out basis at Eastwood Field in terms of the talent level. I think it's going to be better, and I think that this is going to be it's going to be an intense league. Not only is everyone going to be wanting to win a championship, but the battle within the battle is unlike the New York Penn League, where everyone is signed, sealed, and delivered, and you're part of a major league organization, albeit a minor league farmhand, but you are part of that major league organization. These kids have not been drafted and have not signed on the dotted line because, well, they haven't been drafted. So I think that there's going to be I don't want to see a sense of desperation. I don't think that's the case. There isn't going to be there isn't going to be a desperation thing here. But I think there's going to be a sense of urgency for each of these kids to perform at a really big level in order for these kids to improve their draft stock. And I think that that's going to make this particular league really, really intriguing. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we could talk a little bit about that as well. Some really interesting news coming out of Youngstown State University. I don't know if anyone has seen this or not. And I was I'm involved with Youngstown State in doing the tailgate in the fifth quarter show on terrestrial radio for Youngstown State football. And during the game, home games at least, I'm on the field as the liaison to the replay officials up in the booth in the Don Constantini, the new press box on the other side, the smaller side. We're on the smaller side of Stambaugh Stadium. That would be the visiting side. I had Jared Calhoun on over the weekend on Saturday prior to the YSU South Dakota State game, and the YSU men are currently down 3 kids who have decided to go through the portal, the transfer portal. Darius Quisenberry, who is going to be graduating this spring, has 2 years of eligibility left. And DQ wants to, in all likelihood, he's going to want to play closer to home. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes back home into Dayton and plays basketball for Dayton. I know he wants to get a master's degree. He is going to graduate in the spring with a degree in telecommunications. I know he wants to be a sports broadcaster. And Dayton has an unbelievably solid master's program in broadcasting. So it wouldn't surprise me if Darius Quisenberry went back home. Dayton is an Atlantic 10 team, and I don't know if it's a step up, but it's a more widely known mid-major, the Atlantic 10. And he would probably do well there. Jeff Hampurian and Kenny Ganley Jr. are 2 kids that have also gone into the transfer portal. And I asked Coach, if there was any other folks, and we're really not sure at this point. But then you look over at the women's side, and when the season ended, there were a couple of seniors that they had their senior day, and their senior day was celebrated. Yeah, their senior day was celebrated. So everything, everything was cool. I mean, the seniors that were not coming back, they were celebrated. So, I think we all thought, hey, that's, we're probably going to have the seniors that aren't being celebrated right now. It's a pretty good chance that we're going to get them back. And then we find out in the last couple of days that McKenna Peters and Mary Dunn, two of those three seniors, have decided that they want to transfer. That was a little surprising. I got to be honest, it was a little surprising. And then Taylor Pettit decided to transfer out. And the transfer portal is, and we were told, I don't know if warned is the right word, but we were, for lack of a better term, we were forewarned that there was going to be a lot of interest and a lot of use with a transfer portal. And some kids may, just sit back and say, you know what, this place really isn't for me. I'm gonna scat out of here and take whatever time I have left and go somewhere else. Taylor Pettit decided to do that. So that was the third player that has decided to leave Youngstown State. And then yesterday, an absolute bombshell. Nneka Obiizer, who was named Freshman of the Year and was named second team All-Horizon League, she is in the transfer portal. That surprised me. That really, really surprised me. And look, we don't know the reasoning behind this. This could be anything from I'm not comfortable in Youngstown, or I'm not happy where I am. It could also be, well, I think that I can do a better job in a bigger conference. I don't know the reasoning. What I do know is, man, this one hurts. Nneka Obiizer, if you didn't get a chance to see her, and well, unfortunately, not many people did because we didn't have fans in the stands. Let me just tell you, she's legit. She is legitimately talented. There's a reason why she was named Freshman of the Year. Make no mistake about that. But she's in the transfer portal, and now we get a report that Maddie Shires is going into the transfer portal. And that's now 5 kids. If the report on Maddie Shires is accurate, and it's coming from a pretty good source, that's 5 kids in the transfer portal. I mean, I kind of expected a lot of schools to have this problem. I guess I didn't expect Youngstown State to have this big a problem within the transfer portal. Now, it works both ways. I mean, for all we know, Youngstown State could be getting some kids from the transfer portal. And if that's the case, then it's essentially a trade-off. And I don't know how this is going to work out. What I do know is Nneka Obiizer transferring out of Youngstown State with 4 years of eligibility left. Man, that's a kick in the gut. That's a big time kick in the gut. So we can talk a little bit about that as well. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline is open for business. We'll take a time out. On the other side, we'll open up the phone lines, get you to talk about anything and everything. The NCAA tournament opens up 2 days from now with the play-in games. Again, 5 facilities will be housing the NCAA tournament until the Final Four, and then the Final Four will be in the 6th facility, which is Lucas Oil Stadium. That's going to be the host of the Final Four and the national championship game. As for the tournament leading up to the Final Four, it's all going to be in the Indianapolis area. Thursday is the play-in games. We'll have 2 16 seeds going at each other. Norfolk State and Appalachian State will be playing, with the winner getting Gonzaga on Saturday. And then the other 1-16 matchup is going to be Mount St. Mary's taking on Texas Southern. The winner of that game gets Michigan out of the East region, and that will be on Saturday. In the West, let's see, we have Wichita State playing Drake. That is a number 11 battle. That's a number 11 battle. The winner of that game gets USC. And in the Eastern region, Michigan State will be playing UCLA. The winner of that game gets BYU in the Eastern region. Now, as I mentioned, the tournament itself, it's going to be essentially all around Indianapolis. There are 3 arenas in Indianapolis that are going to be used. Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is on the campus of Butler University in Indianapolis. Indiana Farmers Coliseum, that was recently renovated, and that was and is the home of the Horizon League tournament. That place used to be the home of the old ABA team, the old Indiana Pacers from the ABA. That was the red, white, and blue basketball. Yeah, that was a great brand of basketball. The Indiana Farmers Coliseum will be one of 5 places. And Bankers Life Fieldhouse. This is where the Indiana Pacers of today play. So these 3 arenas, Hinkle Fieldhouse, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, Bankers Life Fieldhouse, they're all in Indianapolis, and they're going to be 3 of 5 places that will be housing the NCAA tournament up until the Final Four. The other 2 places, they're going to be the sites of the play-in games. Mackey Arena, which is on the campus of Purdue in West Lafayette, just outside of Indianapolis, and Assembly Hall on the campus of Indiana University in Bloomington. Those 5 places will be doing the NCAA tournament all the way to the Final Four. And then when we get to the Final Four, Lucas Oil Stadium, which is the home of the Indianapolis Colts, they will have a basketball court set up inside the Dome Stadium, and they will have the national semifinals on Saturday, April the 3rd, and the national championship game on Monday, April the 5th. So everything is going to be in the Indianapolis area, including the 2 facilities in West Lafayette and Bloomington, a stone throw away from the great city of Indianapolis. So that's what's going on with the NCAA tournament. All right, we'll take a time out and take some phone calls. MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit. It's a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you. Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
The 2021 Auto Show must go on.
Exclusively at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Save more during the Extra Mile Auto Show with employee pricing for everyone on some of our most popular models. Plus, get an additional $1,000 on the value of your trade. Schedule a test drive today to experience the 2021 lineup for yourself.
Visit GreenwoodAutoShow.com
to see how Greenwood Chevrolet can go the extra mile for you.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, you owe it to yourself. Heck, you owe it to your wallet. You owe it to your wallet to check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Give them an opportunity to earn your business. You will not be sorry that you did. Believe me when I tell you. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. With you till 3 o'clock, at which time DJ and the folks will take over with the Tuesday edition of the Power Hour. I did want to remind those that are wrestling fans, today is March the 16th, 3/16. That would mean it's Stone Cold Steve Austin Day. Just throwing it out there. I got to be honest, he wasn't one of my favorite wrestlers. He just wasn't. I mean, he was good. Made the company pretty popular during the Attitude Era. He certainly did, but I wasn't a big fan of his. I was more of a Rock fan than Stone Cold. But be that as it may. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We'll catch up with Dan Burtolini, the skipper of the YSU baseball program. That will be coming up at 2 o'clock. Man, that was it was an interesting weekend of baseball with YSU. Wright State's legit, kids. We've been saying this all along. Wright State is legit. They're off to an 8-0 start in the Horizon League. They swept a 4-game series from Northern Kentucky in the first week of conference play. And they swept a 4-game series from the Penguins over the weekend. Penguins are now 3-5 in the Horizon League. That puts them in a tie for 4th place with Northern Kentucky. Penguins are 5-11 overall, riding a 4-game losing streak. You look at the Horizon League standings. Wright State began the season 0-5. Now, in context, here are the 5 teams that Wright State played. They were supposed to open up the season with a 3-game series against Vanderbilt. It wound up being a 2-game series because they canceled the game on the 19th of February, and they actually waited until the 22nd of February and played a doubleheader against Vanderbilt. They lost both games, obviously, 14-1 and 1-0. And then the next weekend, they played Alabama down in Tuscaloosa. So 2 teams from a very good Southeastern Conference. Alabama swept them, beating them 8-4, 8-7, and 1-0. But here's the interesting part of this. Wright State lost the 5 games, but 3 of those 5 games were by 1 run. 3 of those 5 games were by 1 run. So they played Northern Kentucky in their 4-game series. They beat the Norse 11-5, 8-1, 11-5, and 13-1. So they quickly jumped out to a 4-0 record. Penguins jumped out to a 3-1 record the last weekend, not this previous weekend, but the weekend before. The Penguins had taken 3 out of 4 from the Mastodons of Purdue Fort Wayne. And we said going into this series that the Penguins were going to have to play some solid ball because you're going to be going up against the benchmark. And the Penguins, they were swept in the 4-game series. Now, in fairness, one of these games was a 1-run game. But the first game of the series went Wright State's way, 12-2. Penguins lost the second game of the series 2-1. They were beaten on Saturday in the back half of the doubleheader 14-5. And then on Sunday, they were beaten 6-1. The Penguins will be playing a non-conference opponent this weekend. They actually open up the home portion of the 2021 baseball season. After 16 games on the road, the Penguins will be opening up the home portion of this season on Friday against St. Bonaventure. That's a 5 o'clock start on Friday, and then a doubleheader on Saturday, beginning at 1 o'clock. St. Bonaventure from the Atlantic 10 comes to town for a 3-game series. And then the following weekend, Wright State comes to town for a 4-game series. So this is an opportunity for the Penguins in these next 7 games. It is an opportunity for the Penguins to get themselves back to where they were originally in the Horizon League standings, which was in second place. And they have some payback on their mind for sure. They are 5 games behind Wright State in the Horizon League standings. If you looked at the standings, Wright State is in first place, an undefeated 8-0 mark. UIC and Milwaukee are in a tie for second place. UIC and Milwaukee each with 2-2 records. Northern Kentucky and Youngstown State are tied for fourth place, identical 3-5 records. And Oakland and the Mastodons from Purdue Fort Wayne are in a tie for sixth place with 1-3 records. Oakland began the season dropping 2 out of 3 to Middle Tennessee before taking 2 out of 3 to Longwood University out of, Farmville, Virginia. Actually, 3 out of 4 from Longwood. And then they split a 4-gamer with Dayton. Oakland is 1-3. They are on a 3-game losing streak. They defeated Northern Kentucky in the first game of this series at Northern Kentucky, and then dropped the final 3 games of the series. So Oakland is 1-3, and Purdue Fort Wayne is 1-3. They have not played a conference game since the Penguins defeated the Mastodons 3 out of 4, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. UIC split a series over the weekend with Milwaukee, winning the first 2 games and then losing the final 2 games of the series. So UIC is 2-2. Milwaukee is 2-2. Milwaukee's on a 2-game winning streak. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the overall record for these teams, and UIC is 3-7 overall. Milwaukee is 2-9 overall. Northern Kentucky 5-10. Oakland is 7-8. Purdue Fort Wayne 4-7. Wright State 8-5. The Penguins are 5-11 on the campaign. And again, the Penguins' non-conference schedule. You had Troy, in which the Penguins went 1-3 against Troy, and then they played 2 games against LSU, 2 games against Nicholls State, and a 1-1 against Nicholls State, 0-2 against LSU. Although one of those games was a 2-run loss, and then they opened up conference play by taking 3 out of 4 to Purdue Fort Wayne. The one game that they lost, it was a 1-0 game in the 7-inning doubleheader, which they're one of the 2 games in the doubleheader is a 7-inning game. So the Penguins, they get their home opener this weekend. Hopefully, knock on wood, the weather's going to cooperate. Apparently, Saturday is supposed to be a nice day. I'm not sure about Friday. In terms of whether or not the game will be played with the conditions and whatnot. From what I understand, everything should be okay. Friday they're looking at a high of 38 degrees, but there isn't the threat of rain on Friday, like a 6% chance of rain on Friday during the day and like a 3% chance at nighttime. But the low is going to be like 23 degrees. I mean, it's going to be chilly. But Saturday is supposed to be absolutely gorgeous. Again, we're 4 days out, so let's wait a couple of days. But the forecast for Saturday is sunshine with a high of 53 degrees. So that could be fun. And then Sunday is supposed to be sunny with a high of 62. So could very easily move the Friday game to Sunday. St. Bonaventure's, about a 5-hour drive from here? Somewhere in that vicinity. I know it's over, it's in Olean, New York, which is down around the Corning, Elmira area in the upstate New York. In that area, I believe it's on the way to Corning and Elmira, which is like 5 hours from here, if I'm not mistaken. I know when I used to work in Elmira, I would pass Olean on the way to Elmira and Corning in that area. And it's like 3 hours and change. It's on the other side of Jamestown. On what is that, 86, just off of Interstate 86, which is pretty interesting. If you're traveling up I-90, before you get into New York, the road splits off. You have I-90 that takes you all the way into Buffalo and Rochester and all that other part of the state of New York, and then the interstate that takes you to the southern part of the state of New York, still upstate New York, is Interstate 86, and that's where Jamestown. And if you're familiar with the New York Penn League, Jamestown used to be a franchise in the New York Penn League. Well, Olean is not too far away from Jamestown, so it's like about 3.5 hours. From Youngstown State. It's actually a little bit closer than what I thought. So they could definitely play that game on a Sunday. And if it's too cold to play on Friday, and looking at the forecast, it's supposed to be really, really nice on Saturday and Sunday. Technically, they could play that game on a Sunday, and then be back at campus long before Monday morning. Now, the only thing is, your second round games. Well, actually, this would work because the first round game is on a Saturday. St. Bonaventure is in the dance as the 9 seed. They're going to be playing number 8 LSU. So even if they were to play one of those games on a Sunday, it actually works. It would actually work for them. Especially if St. Bonaventure knocks off LSU, they would play, in all likelihood, Michigan in the second round of the tournament. That's where they would probably lose. I mean, let's be honest. It's Michigan is they're pretty good. But anyway, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Youngstown State plays St. Bonaventure, as the Penguins will have the home opener. And then they go back into conference play, taking on Wright State again, March the 26th, doubleheader on the 27th, and a single game on the 28th before UIC comes to town. And actually, this is Penguins are going to be home for quite a while here. An 11-game homestand. You get a 3-gamer against St. Bonaventure this weekend, a 4-game series with Wright State next weekend, and then Easter weekend. Well, actually, this would be Palm Sunday weekend. I beg your pardon. No, actually, it is Easter weekend. I believe Easter is on the 4th this year, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Easter is going to be on the 4th. Yeah, it's April the 4th. So UIC comes to town on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So they'll play a single game on Thursday, a doubleheader on Friday, and a single game on Saturday. So the Penguins are going to be home for 11 games beginning this Friday against St. Bonaventure. So hopefully everyone will be able to go out. So, I mean, well, as many people as we can put into Eastwood Field. There are still limits, unfortunately, with COVID and everything. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We got plenty of things to talk about. The NCAA tournament. The play-in games are Thursday. The tournament starts on Friday. And again, the 5 places that will be the sites for the tournament up until the Final Four. These are the 5 facilities. Hinkle Fieldhouse, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, and Bankers Life Fieldhouse. All 3 of these facilities are in Indianapolis. Hinkle Fieldhouse is on the campus of Butler University. Indiana Farmers Coliseum, that's the place that the Indiana Pacers of the ABA used to play. They refurbished this place. This is where the Horizon League played their tournaments. And Bankers Life Fieldhouse, that's the home of the Indiana Pacers, the current NBA team. Those 3 facilities are in Indianapolis. Assembly Hall is just outside of Indianapolis in Bloomington. That's on the campus of Indiana University. And Mackey Arena, that is on the campus of Purdue University, and that is in West Lafayette, which is just outside of Indianapolis as well. Those 5 arenas will be hosting the NCAA basketball tournament all the way to the Final Four, and then they'll move the Final Four to Lucas Oil Stadium, which is the home of the Indianapolis Colts in the National Football League. Beautiful domed stadium. They have a basketball floor set up there. The national semifinals on Saturday, April the 3rd. The national championship game on Monday, April the 5th. So there you go. All right, 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit. It is a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Winds is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
Save more during the Extra Mile Auto Show with employee pricing for everyone on some of our most popular models. Plus, get an additional $1,000 on the value of your trade. Schedule a test drive today to experience the 2021 lineup for yourself.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you on this Tuesday edition of Running Point. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Coming up at 2 o'clock, we'll hear from the manager of the YSU baseball team, Dan Burtolini. Penguins are 3-5 in the Horizon League, which is good for a tie for fourth place with Northern Kentucky. As we mentioned, they open up an 11-game homestand spread out over 3 weekends as the Penguins will open up non-conference play. Actually, the home portion of the schedule will be a non-conference affair with St. Bonaventure this weekend. And then next weekend, Penguins hopefully get a little revenge on Wright State, who swept them over the weekend in a 4-gamer down in Dayton. Hopefully the Penguins can take care of business and give Wright State some much-needed retribution. Penguins will play Wright State the following weekend. And then UIC comes to town. UIC currently in a tie for second place with Milwaukee. Both of these teams at 2 wins and 2 losses. There are, 4 teams that have played 4 conference games. UIC, Milwaukee, Oakland, and Purdue Fort Wayne. 3 teams have played 8 conference games. YSU, Northern Kentucky, and Wright State. So I know that everyone has a off week where you're not going to be playing a conference series. You're going to have a non-conference affair at home, and this is Youngstown State's turn to be a non-conference. They'll have a non-conference opponent this weekend. So the Penguins will still be at 8 conference games. They will be playing games 17, 18, and 19 this weekend when the Penguins open up the home portion of the schedule against St. Bonaventure. And that will be on Friday, Saturday, and actually Friday and Saturday, doubleheader on Saturday. So the 5 o'clock start on Friday, doubleheader on Saturday. First game is set for 1 o'clock. The second game is set for 4:30. My guess is the first game will be the 7-inning affair. That's my guess, based on the time period that they are putting that second game in. My guess is that first game of the doubleheader is going to be the 7-inning affair. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo heating and air conditioning hotline open for business. Again, we made mention when we had Rob Schmidt on a couple of, I think it was last week we had Rob on, and we were told that the transfer portal was going to be something that was going to it was going to be used by an awful lot of teams and an awful lot of players for various reasons, because there is an opportunity for players to leave a college, go somewhere else, and play immediately. For the longest time, the rules were, if you're planning on leaving before graduation, if you're staying in Division I basketball or whatever sport, if you're staying in the Division I sport of your choice, you would have to sit out for a year, and then you would be eligible to play. With the transfer portal, that is no longer an issue. You can now leave and be eligible the very next year, where you don't have to sit out any time. And we were told that the transfer portal was going to be used in an awful lot. We made mention of this in the first hour. When we were watching the Youngstown State University women play, they did a senior day honoring the seniors that weren't going to be coming back. And there were a few players. But there were players that were seniors that had 1 year of eligibility left, and they weren't being honored, leading a lot of us to believe that, these kids will be back next year, and everything will be pretty cool. Well, as it turns out, not so much. The YSU women have officially had 4 players go to the transfer portal, and there is a report of a 5th player going into the transfer portal. Seniors McKenna Peters and Mary Dunn are in the transfer portal, along with Taylor Pettit, and this one is the bombshell. Nneka Obiizer, the freshman of the year in the Horizon League. She yesterday announced that she would be transferring out of Youngstown State University. There is a report Maddie Shires is on the is no longer with the YSU women's basketball program. So that would be 5 players that are exiting the program. And look, we were told before the season started, hey, there's going to be an awful lot of activity, not just in Youngstown State. It's going to be throughout. I want to say that one of the Horizon League teams already has 7 players in the transfer portal. So it's unfortunate. Now, the flip side that not many people are talking about, the flip side, which unfortunately we have not seen quite yet, players that are going to come into Youngstown State. The men we've lost 3 players for the men. Kenny Ganley Jr., Hampurian, and Quisenberry. They are all headed elsewhere. And we made mention, it's Darius Quisenberry will probably wind up playing for Dayton or a team in the Atlantic 10. I would assume that would be a good landing spot for him. I would be very surprised if he goes into a Power 5 conference team. But I do think that another mid-major could certainly be on the horizon, no pun intended there. But, yeah, there's plenty of kids that are currently in the transfer portal. All right, let's get to the phone lines. Champ, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on, Champ?
What happened to balls and strikes and free throws, and now we got transfer portals?
Yeah, I know. It's, I mean, this, I guess with COVID and this being the Mulligan year, they decided that they would open up the transfer portal for everyone, and good God, the floodgates have opened.
Yeah, and I think the situation was that there was always a question mark on why head coaches can come and go and make big bucks whenever they want. They could leave it next day or whatever. But the players who were recruited by some of these coaches had to stick around. And I think they've fixed that a little bit. But this may be, and YSU's not the only team in the country. I mean, our beloved Notre Dame, how many players transferred? Went to the transfer portal, 8 players or something like that? Yeah. They got one back, thank God.
Yeah.
But there's reasons why. One reason is if you're a good player and you're not playing, you'd want to go somewhere else.
Absolutely.
I get that.
Absolutely.
Number 2, the guy that coaches, your head coach leaves for another team. Why would you want to stay around?
Agreed.
I mean, I get it. I mean, there's some good reasons. Now, if you want to get on a better program because you're getting better and have a chance to maybe make a lot of money in the NBA or other leagues around the world, I think that best describes the situation with our point guard here at YSU. Maybe he thinks if he goes to a bigger school, gets more exposure, maybe he can get that break. Who knows? But everyone's got their own personal decisions on why they. And let's be honest. Youngstown State is not exactly the juggernaut of college basketball right now.
No, I agree with that. I mean, look, and in Darius's case, and I said this last year, and I certainly don't mean to offend anyone by saying this, Darius Quisenberry has no shot at playing in the NBA unless he gets demonstrably better in certain aspects of his game. He has no shot at the NBA. There's a lot of things Darius would need work on. Now, having said that, if he works on these things in the final 2 years of his eligibility and where he goes is going to be interesting. One would assume that he's going to go into a, quote, better mid-major team. And, I think that if he stays in his own backyard and goes to Dayton, I think that's a great landing spot for DQ. And you work on the stuff that you need to improve. But, when I heard last year that, well, I want to see if, where I would be in terms of drafting. Darius Quisenberry wasn't going to get drafted in the NBA draft. He's not a finished product yet. He's got work to do before he becomes an NBA caliber player.
Now, let me go from, we talk about Quisenberry on various ways to get to the NBA, however you want to do it. My alma mater, as you know, it made the tournament. Ohio University with a tremendous run in the tournament. They just blew over. This is a good example of a team getting hot at the right time. Now, keep in mind, this team, way back at the beginning of the season, had a 2-game stretch where they almost upset Illinois in the last seconds. I think they lost at the buzzer. And the very next game is when they had that remarkable game against Cleveland State where they won a record-setting 40-0 run. And that kind of defined that team. And then their star player got hurt, and they lost 4 games in a row or 5 games in a row. But this player, to me, and I don't know if you know the story behind this Jason Preston, who is the point guard of the Ohio University Bobcats team. Now, you talk about perseverance and trying to get in the NBA. This guy was living in Orlando, Florida, with his mom's best friend in an apartment in high school. Now, his mother was suffering from lung cancer, but she was a huge basketball fan. She taught him everything he knows about basketball. And ironically, her favorite team was the Pistons. She loved that 04 Piston team with the Wallaces. And at this time, this guy is a senior. He's 6 foot tall, 140 pounds. He only scored 52 total points in high school and scored 2 points in a game he started his senior year, the only game he ever started. Well, he wasn't going to go to the UCF because he lived by Central Florida, but decided to play a summer of AAU basketball. And one of the guys that was there convinced him not to go to school, but try one of these prep schools where they have like A, B, C, and D of trying to get better to maybe get to college or play some type of basketball on this planet. Well, he plays it, and the guy says, you're not bad. He says, why don't you go to prep school instead of going to UCF? And his mother actually was for him going to the prep school. She wanted him to play basketball. And keep in mind, this guy is like 6 foot, and he weighs 140 pounds. Kind of reminds me of the situation with Rudy. You had no athletic ability.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
weigh 100 or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So he goes to this prep school. It starts off at D is the worst and A is the best. Starts off at D, goes to C. Now, this guy is a very talented point guard. His game, I would be described as kind of like Pete Maravich type game. He's got an amazing passing ability behind his back, between whatever, but he became a good scorer. Well, when he got to the B team, he wasn't playing as much, so he has to be dropped down to the C team and made a little tape on Twitter. He edited it, and he made it all about great passing. And he took that and sent it to almost every university in the country, and only 2 colleges called him back. One was Longwood, which is a small school, I think, in Florida, and the other was Ohio University, who just got a new coach, and said, we're interested in you. Come on up. And to make a long story short, the next year he was a starting point guard for the Ohio University Bobcats. And he's now a junior right now. And he's actually projected to go in the NBA draft in the 2nd round. How about that?
Yeah, apparently there are some scouts that believe that this kid's ability is good enough to be an NBA type of player.
If you watch him, you'd think that this is a kid that just drove up your street on his bicycle reading bubblegum cards. I mean, he looks like a 7th grader. He doesn't look like an athlete, but he's got this amazing ability like Maravich did, where he knows where everybody's out in the court. But he's been launching threes lately. But keep in mind, I think they've lost 4 of their total 7 losses were when he didn't play. Very talented team, only 1 senior, but this is a team to watch in this tournament. And you never know, they could lose the first game, but they're playing very well. Only have 1 loss at the middle of January. So a very good team, but interesting to watch him. He's something to watch, this Preston, where he's come from and where he could eventually be up in the NBA.
Let me ask you, champ, did he grow at all, or is he still 6 foot?
Yes. He's still growing now, and that's key because he's a late bloomer, obviously, and I think he's 6'3" now, 6'2", 6'3", but he's got this ability to dribble, and post up, and big guys just aren't able to block his shot because he's got amazing feel for the game. He's got shots on every part, and once again, he's got this behind the back. I mean, he's got everything. He doesn't play globetrotter ball but he's a triple double every night he plays. I mean, that's how good this kid is. But he doesn't look like a basketball player. But watch him, and I think they play Saturday on the True Network of all places against Virginia.
Yeah, and Virginia is the 4 seed. Ohio is the 13. There's a lot of people, a lot of so-called experts that are on the Ohio bandwagon saying that they're a serious threat to upset Virginia in the first round of the tournament.
Well, I figure the last 2 years of Virginia, people don't remember now, Virginia is actually the defending champion of this tournament. It wasn't held last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind how to judge this Virginia team. 3 years ago, they lost to the 16th seed, the only time that's ever happened, and the next year they won the national championship. So who's going to figure out what they're going to do in the first round? Unbelievable. But they play great defense, and so does Ohio U, so it should be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, and Virginia is coached by the other Tony Bennett. Not
right.
The famous Tony Bennett, the other guy.
Yeah, you won't be hearing him sing the national anthem, I don't think.
Probably not. And I don't think that he'll be remaking his predecessor's hit, I Left My Heart in Charlottesville, Virginia, anytime soon.
No, I think if he sang that, it would sound like I left my foot in Tuscaloosa. I mean, if he sang, that's probably what it would sound like. But anyways, I am fired up for the Tigers. You talked about your favorite team. Because, the Tigers right now, it's all about let's just play these kids. And I really think that when I look at their ERA last year was 5.63, which I thought was unbelievably bad. But I don't remember it being that bad. And I looked at a lot of the guys that they threw in last year aren't with the team anymore because they were desperate for guys that could pitch. But now it's a different attitude, and they've got a different manager now. But it's time now. They're going to throw these kids out. I mean, they've got like about 9-10 pitchers that are fighting for this rotation. It's going to be very tough to make this rotation now because of all the talent they have. But we're starting to see this. So I'm excited for this season. And I think they have potentially, because of that high ERA, to be the most improved pitching staff in that division. Now, maybe they may end up in the middle fours, but that's improvement. And if they can do that, you're going to see them win a lot more ball games.
Yeah, I think they're probably still the last place team in the division, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a snooze fest in terms of watching the team. I think that the talent that everyone has been so geeked up about is now finally starting to show itself. I mean, you've had the talent go from Erie to Toledo, and there's still, frankly, some talent that is in Erie and Toledo, but you're starting to see the first wave of that really good farm system coming into the major leagues, and it's still a rebuild, but it's an exciting time if you're a Tigers fan. Now, it's probably going to result in another 90-loss season, but it's going to be competitive, and I think that this team is going to springboard to a really good team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, interesting because you talk about their pitching now, but they picked up a lot. They got some guys coming up through the organization, but also some good trades. The best trade they made recently, as you know, is maybe this Willie Castro they got from the Indians, who at the time was a shortstop in the organization. I think he was the 7th-ranked player in the organization. They got him for the center fielder that played just briefly, but had that horrible sickness, almost died, if you remember.
Yeah.
Well, Willie Castro, the gentleman that the Indians gave to Detroit, he just all of a sudden the light came on, especially with his bat. I mean, he had 347 last year in a limited action during the COVID thing. The question is, can he play shortstop? That's the question. There's no doubt about his bat. And if he can't, then Nico Goodrum is going to be the guy. But if he can play shortstop, it really makes it interesting because then you could take Goodrum and be a utility guy, which he is most effective because he plays every position pretty well. But can Castro handle shortstop? Then everything else falls into place. But there's a kid, though, that really has blossomed with his bat especially. They're just amazed at this kid's ability. I think he's got 3 or 4 homers already in the spring.
Yeah, it's again. There's kids, not only pitchers. There's position player kids that if you're a Tiger fan, you should be excited for. Now, unfortunately, you have the albatross of Miguel Cabrera's salary, which is everyone loves to talk about when you sign a guy to a long-term deal, everyone wants to, and rightfully so, wants to talk about the front end of the contract. Well, what nobody really likes to talk about is the back end of the contract when you get royally screwed. And being that baseball is probably the only sport that doesn't have a salary cap, it's a situation where if you're spending an awful lot of money on one player and you're not getting enough revenue to justify it, it puts the team in a pretty bad position, and that's exactly where the Tigers are right now with Cabrera. Now, I mean, you don't tell Miggy, hey, by the way, we're going to trade you. That's not going to happen because he's a veteran player that has earned the no-trade clause, and he would have to agree to any deal because he's a 10-5 guy. 10 years in Major League Baseball, 5 years with the same team, 5 consecutive years with the same team. So 10-5 means that you can't trade him unless he wants to be traded. It's one of those situations where you're stuck with him until the contract is ended.
Yeah, I'll give him credit because last year and even this year, I watched the game yesterday where he is in pretty good shape. I'll give him credit for that because he was getting to the point now. But the last 2 years, and last year he actually had a decent year for his age. and he only missed one game, and it wasn't because of an injury. Now, he's going to play some first this year, but at least he's keeping himself in somewhat shape. And if he can do that and stay on the field, then there's 13 homers and 134 hits that he needs to go with 500 homers and 3,000 hits. That'll make the season a little more interesting, especially if he stays healthy.
Well, and I think he'll hit both of those. I think that Cabrera will get his 13 home runs, and he should be able to get them sometime in mid-July, late July. The 134 hits will probably be accomplished somewhere late August, early September. But I expect Miggy to get the 500 home runs, 3,000 hits, and is his contract up at the end of the year, Champ, or do they have one more year?
No, he has one more, maybe even an option for the third year. But if he's healthy and he's got this thing going with this 500 and 3,000 hits, that's going to, and if they're able to, they're going to pack that Comerica Park because fans will come out to see that.
Oh, no doubt.
If it gets down, that'll be exciting, and it'll be something to take the pressure off maybe the young kids. But I'm back to my original point. We're finally here. The rebuilding is over. Now we got to see what these kids can do. And when you got 50 great prospects, usually only 5 to 10 of them stick. But that's good. They've got enough out there. Hopefully they'll get it done. But I think this is the year that they really need to get the pitching improved, and I think they will.
Yeah, I think it's, you're probably looking at 70 to 75 wins with a team, which doesn't sound enough, or doesn't sound like a lot of wins. But, you're going to be competitive in a lot of your games. I think the Royals will be slightly better. I think the Indians will be better. Obviously, the White Sox and the Twins are in a different plateau than the Tigers are. But I honestly think the Tigers, if everything falls into place, you're probably looking as early as 2022 to be a contender for a championship, at least a division title.
Right. I think they've got their bullpen now to the point where they like it. Now, this year, to me, it's all about who's going to be the 5-6 starters, who's going to be the guys. Now, keep in mind, they still got Matt Boyd and Spencer Turnbull, who they expect to have pretty good seasons, both of them, because Boyd's coming off a horrible year, but he looks very sharp in spring, and he throws a lot of innings, and Turnbull's kind of behind the radar, under the radar. He's a pretty good pitcher, and he gets better every year. The question is who's going to fill out the rest of the rotation for the Tigers.
Yeah, that's where the 90 losses comes into play.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. But anyways, I think believe me, it's. I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, well, maybe that's fortunately. I wish we'd play the Indians all whatever time. Get it out of the way. Let's go in 15. Get them out of the way so we can relax a little bit.
Well, listen, the Indians aren't going to be as dominant this year, I don't think. Don't get me wrong. I still think the Indians. I haven't figured out how many wins we're looking at. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 85 to 88 wins in for the Indians. And I think they could go over 90, but in order for that to happen, they would have to really have some big-time numbers from the everyday players. But I think because the pitching that they have and the bullpen as it is, I think that the Indians could very easily win 85 to 88 games this year.
Yeah, and their pitching is still incredibly. I think it's one of the top 3 pitching staffs in baseball still, and I think their lineup is as good as their pitching is. Their lineup could be as weak. I mean, but they have that pitching. It doesn't really matter. I mean, they don't need these guys that all of them hit 30 home runs. They just need to get the clutch hits when they need. As long as their pitchers continue to do what they've been doing for the past several years, they don't need a lot of hitting. I mean, look what they hit last year, 228, and they still made the playoffs.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to hit a little bit better than that. I mean, and obviously the clutch hitting is the big part of it as well. Right. If you got guys on base, you got to get those guys in. This is a team that is not going to be loaded top to bottom with guys that are a threat to get the ball out of the yard. I mean, truth be told, Ramirez, Reyes, and that's about it in terms of guys that are a existential threat to hit the ball out of the yard at any time. If Bradley makes the team, then he would be the third guy, but I don't see Bobby Bradley making this team. I think that he's going to start the year in AAA, and they're just going to give the job to Bowers because frankly, I don't think Bowers has completely stunk the joint out, and he's out of options. So I don't see the Indians bringing up Bobby Bradley straight from spring training. I think we'll see him, but I don't think that the Indians are going to be bringing him up straight from spring training.
Yeah, these guys that are sluggers, and sometimes they turn out to be, as they call them, 4A players. And the Tigers have one in Christian Stewart, who, was the player of the year every year, hit 30 homers every year, but he can't Major League pitching. And I think his days are numbered, and that's the situation with Bobby Bradley. Tremendous power, but is he going to be eventually what you want to be on the Major League level, or is he a 4A player like we see so often?
Yeah, I don't know what to think of Bobby because he really hasn't had much of an opportunity in the major leagues. He had the one opportunity. He was completely overwhelmed, but he has since lost some weight. He's gotten a lot more flexibility. He still has the enormous, prodigious power. Is he worthy of another chance? Absolutely he is.
Sure.
It's just, and in normal circumstances, if Bowers had any options left, I think Bradley would have already won the job, and everyone would be talking about Bobby Bradley opening up as the starting first baseman. But I don't see that happening. Because Bowers doesn't have any options left, the Indians don't want to expose Jake Bowers to waivers because they believe he is a major league caliber player. So because he doesn't have any options left, the Indians have no choice but to put him on the major league team. Otherwise, they're risking losing Bowers through the waiver department. And
my final comment is that the Las Vegas Raiders signed a defensive end yesterday, an edge rusher, and I still don't know how to pronounce his last name. Yannick, it's Nake or something like that, but he seems to be pretty good. But what bothers me is he's been on 4 teams in the last year, something like that.
Yeah,
he's been around.
He's been around. There's no doubt, but he's a good player. He's a solid player, and I think that the Raiders did well with this.
He had 12 sacks the one year, and the Raiders had 13.
Yeah,
so he by himself almost had more sacks than the entire team.
Yeah, they have the talent to make things interesting, but Kansas City's in their division, so obviously you're looking at a wild card, and then you got the Los Angeles Chargers, and by the way, speaking of, kudos to the Boardman kid who just signed a monster-sized contract with the Los Angeles Chargers. They got a deal with Los Angeles, and Corey is he's a big time contract for the Los Angeles Chargers, and that's a great move. It's a solid move for the Chargers.
Yeah, and they got a young quarterback who I think is, in my opinion, might be the best quarterback 5 years from now. That is Herbert, and he needs protected, and he does a good job protecting, and he's also a tremendous run blocker.
Yeah, and by the way, not only did the Chargers do well with Corey Linsley, they did well with Matt Fielder. They signed him to a 3-year deal, $21 million, and he was tackling guard for the Steelers. So, they're certainly putting a pretty nice offensive line together to protect Herbert, who, and I agree with you, Champ. I think Justin Herbert may be an elite quarterback pretty quickly down the road here.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed with him. He just happens to be in our division. Are we allowed to move divisions? I'm going to write a letter to the commissioner. I'd like to get in that National League Eastern division.
Yeah, the NFC East.
Until they get good again, then we'll move back.
Well, and listen, Washington got Ryan Fitzpatrick, so
oh boy,
he lives. Yeah. He lives to find another team. I guess this is his 9th team now. So.
Yeah, he looks like Benjamin Harrison with that beard.
Oh yeah.
But so he fits in nice there. But anyways, that's all I got today, Ron. So I'm looking forward to the Tiger season, but I'm not happy that they're opening with the Indians. I'm going to see about changing that.
Get it out of the way,
I know, but come on, can't you guys be nice for once.
Well,
we did beat you last year, I think.
Yeah, you did. So it's and I can go back 5-6 years ago. The Detroit was mercilessly pounding on Cleveland. So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's amazing how these two teams, when you consider they've been together since 1900 or 1901, they really haven't been good at the same time very often, have they? It's amazing.
No, it was.
It's amazing.
What is it? When Ubaldo Jimenez first came to the Indians in that really weird trade with Colorado, where they didn't even the physician didn't even give Ubaldo a physical before the deal, which I thought was absurd.
And the other two guys got hurt. The Indian guys got hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So it turned out to be a horrible trade for both teams, but. That was the last and probably only time those two teams were really good at the same time, and that was the year that Detroit wound up getting a pitcher from Seattle who I spent a lot of time with when he was in the Mariners farm team, Doug Fister.
He ended up being a stiff. He ended up being Fister. Okay.
Yeah, Fister wound up being a really good addition to the Tigers. Yeah.
When you think about it, they had Scherzer and David Price and Verlander and Porcello and Sanchez and Fitz. I mean, think of the starting pitching they had and the hitters they had, and they couldn't win a World Series. Amazing.
Yeah.
They were loaded, but whatever. The Giants just beat them up. And the one year they couldn't field a bunt against the Cardinals. Remember that?
Oh,
They couldn't field a bunt. Jeez, oh man.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. All right, Chip.
Ronnie.
All
Take
right.
care.
See
Good
you. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. Take a time out. Be back with more. It is a Tuesday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Bad credit, no problem. I can get you approved for a low-interest loan and maybe even a low-payment lease on a new car at the #1 Chevy dealership in Trumbull County for 3 years in a row. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved or come see me, Tony Page, to get a new vehicle today. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
The 2021 Auto Show must go on.
Exclusively at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Save more during the Extra Mile Auto Show with employee pricing for everyone on some of our most popular models. Plus, get an additional $1,000 on the value of your trade. Schedule a test drive today to experience the 2021 lineup for yourself.
Visit GreenwoodAutoShow.com
to see how Greenwood Chevrolet can go the extra mile for you.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Coming up at 2 o'clock, we will hear from the manager, the guy that runs the YSU baseball program. Dan Burtolini will be calling in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline at 2 o'clock. Penguins will be opening up an 11-game homestand. They are doing their home opener this weekend against out-of-conference opponents. As St. Bonaventure will be coming into town for a 3-game series, single game on Friday, a doubleheader on Saturday, and then the following weekend, Wright State comes to town. So Penguins, they will hopefully get some retribution. They were swept over the weekend by Wright State. Hopefully they will get a little retribution as Wright State comes to Eastwood Field next weekend. And then the following weekend, that would be Easter weekend, UIC comes a-calling. And UIC will be in town for a single game on Thursday, a doubleheader on Friday, and a single game on Saturday. Don't know if anyone saw this or not. Over the weekend, the boys' regional tournaments wound up. And now we're in the state semifinals. These games will be played on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. At 11 a.m. Friday morning, it'll be Botkins, who defeated Berlin Highland. I didn't see that one coming. Botkins will play Richmond Heights. That is the team that knocked off Warren JFK in the regional championship game. Botkins will play Richmond Heights Friday morning at 11 a.m. The other state semifinal game in Division 4 will take place on Saturday. Columbus Grove will play New Boston Glenwood. The winners of those two games will face off on Sunday morning at 10:45 a.m. in the state championship game. Division 3, Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, Worthington Christian will face Cincinnati Taft. And then at 8 o'clock, it'll be Ottawa Glandorf taking on Cleveland Heights Lutheran East. That's the team that knocked off Cardinal Mooney in the regional semifinals. Lutheran East will face Ottawa Glandorf Friday night at 8 o'clock. The winner of those two games will meet on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. In Division 2, on Saturday morning at 11 a.m., Columbus DeSales will be playing Dayton Chaminade Julienne. That'll be Saturday morning at 11 a.m. The other state semifinal game in Division 2, it'll be Lima Shawnee playing Akron St. Vincent St. Mary. That's the team that defeated Struthers in the Division 2 regional semifinals. That game, Lima Shawnee and St. V's, will be Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. The winner of these two D2 state semifinal games will play each other for the D2 state championship game on Sunday afternoon at 5:15. And then finally, Division 1, unbeaten Menor takes on Centerville in the first game. That'll be Saturday at 5 o'clock. St. Ignatius will battle Westerville Central in the 8 o'clock matchup. And the winner of these two games will face off on Sunday night at 8:30 at the University of Dayton. That's where the basketball tournament is going to be held, at the University of Dayton. And according to 21 Sports Director Dana Balish, who joined us yesterday, Dayton appears to be the home of the boys and girls state semifinals and state championship games. And it looks like the University of Dayton will be the place for a couple of years, as they have stepped up. And truth be told, I've heard a lot of good things about the University of Dayton and the facilities and the fact that the OHSAA is essentially allowed to go anywhere that they want to. And unlike the Schottenstein Center, where they told the OHSAA, hey, you're not allowed to go here. They're free to do anything they want to at the University of Dayton, which is probably one of the big reasons why the venue has been moved to the University of Dayton. We had Tom Callahan on last week to talk some pucks. Big win for the Penguins last night. They got a victory over Boston in Pittsburgh, 4-1. Penguins are now firmly entrenched in third place in the Eastern Division. They are currently 3 points in back of Washington in the Eastern Division. They're 5 in back of the Islanders. Pittsburgh has played 28 games, 18 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie, 37 points. They're 5 points better than Boston, 6 points better than Philadelphia, who's currently on the outside looking in the Eastern Division. Top 4 teams in each division. Each of the hockey's new divisions are going to go to the playoffs. And right now, the Penguins are in pretty good shape with 37 points. These two teams skate again tonight. Face off at 7 o'clock tonight in Pittsburgh. Boston taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. So good news there. Cavaliers, who've been playing better basketball as of late, although they did get beat on Sunday by Atlanta 100-82. Cleveland is at Miami tonight. Then they're back home tomorrow night to face the Boston Celtics. Cavaliers at Miami. That is an 8 o'clock start tonight. Cavaliers are 14-24, 10.5 games behind Milwaukee in the Central Division, and I believe they're like 3.5 games out of a final playoff spot. 3.5 games out, 4 in the loss column from the final spot in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So Cleveland playing tonight in Miami. Tomorrow they will be home to take on the Boston Celtics, as Double T, Tristan Thompson, will be making an appearance in a Celtics uniform. I signed in the offseason with the Boston Celtics, so Double T will be coming back to Cleveland, this time as a member of the Boston Celtics. So Cleveland home to Boston tomorrow night, but they are home, or I should say they're on the road tonight. They're in Miami, taking on the Miami Heat. That is an 8 o'clock start, so hopefully the Cavaliers can take care of business tonight and come back home tomorrow night. We'll see what the prognosis is for Kevin Love. He only played a couple of minutes of the game against Atlanta and then left the game, and I guess he felt a little aggravation within the calf. I'm not sure. That's a tough contract for the Cavaliers right now. That is an albatross hanging around the Cavaliers' neck right now with Kevin Love, unfortunately. All right, we're going to take a timeout. On the other side, we will hear from the manager, the head baseball coach of the Youngstown State University Penguins, Dan Burtolini. They unfortunately ran into a buzzsaw that was Wright State over the weekend. Wright State sweeping the Penguins. We'll talk about that series, and we'll preview the home opener in the first of 11 straight games at Eastwood Field. Penguins, a non-conference affair this weekend, as they play St. Bonaventure out of the Atlantic 10. We'll hear from Dan Burtolini coming up next. Stick around.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. We're with you till 3 o'clock, taking your phone calls on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline at 330-886-0960. 0813. Although right now we're not going to take any phone calls because we're going to talk Penguin baseball right now with the skipper of the YSU baseball program, Dan Burtolini. Dan, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well.
Good to hear. Okay, so over the weekend, you guys took a shot at Wright State. They're, and year in, year out, they've been the benchmark of baseball in the Horizon League. What do you learn when you take on Wright State and for this year, 4 games in Dayton? Unfortunately, the Penguins were swept in the 4-game series. What do you take out of this series? Because not everything was horrible. There were some bright spots in this series.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing we took away from it, it's just tough when you don't play well and you're playing one of the better teams in the conference. We have high expectations for our group and inside of our program. We expect to be a team that can compete for the Horizon League, and we picked a bad weekend to perform poorly. They're a good team, and they do some things really well. But I think it was a lot more about what we did and how we performed than even what they did. And, really, I mean, for the most part, it started, we made some uncharacteristic mistakes, some errors. We didn't pitch as well as we've pitched most of the year. And, they really beat us in all 3 facets of the game. And so, we take it for what it's worth. It's a series in early March, and there's a lot of baseball left to be played. So we'll look at some things. We're going to make some adjustments moving forward. I mean, that's a team that we'll be there to compete for a Horizon League championship, and we have to make some adjustments. We don't have much time. We have a game this week. We have a series this week against St. Bonaventure, and then we get those guys again at home. So we'll make our adjustments and we'll move forward for next week.
Skip, who are some of the guys that stuck out in what was a really tough weekend? Who are some of the kids that stuck out and did well for you?
Well, obviously Colin Ford pitched a tremendous game. He was really one pitch away from being from throwing 6 shutout innings and giving us a 1-0 lead going into the 7th. So I thought he did a tremendous job this weekend. Pat O'Shaughnessy and Braden both had good weekends, had multi-hit games, and Pat had a big home run for us. I thought Don Bucco did a nice job. He had 4 or 5 hits on the weekend, kind of broke out a little bit. And then John Snyder, really, he threw 4 pretty good innings. Some of our guys, some of our bullpen arms came in and did a nice job. Dalton, Eric, Chad Coles, Gary Clift, and Joel Hake, they all threw the ball well. But we just got to find a way to get them into more competitive situations. A lot of them were later in the series, and we just got to get a couple guys right, kind of moving forward.
What did Wright State do pitching wise to slow down this Penguin attack? Because you look at the result: 2 runs in the first game, 1 run in the 2 of the other 3 games. There was 1 game in which the Penguins scored 5 runs, and that was I think the 3rd game of the series. What did the Wright State pitching staff do well that slowed you guys down considerably?
I mean, they have 3 really good weekend starters. They're Friday night guys, are probably a top 5 round pick. I wouldn't be surprised if their Saturday guy, Bradley Bremer, would be right behind them. So they have some really talented arms. Their Sunday guys very similar to Snyder. But I thought overall what they did a really good job of is they were very unpredictable on the mound. They threw a lot of breaking pitches, a lot of change-ups, a lot of speed stuff and fastball counts. They really kept our hitters off balance. I think we didn't do a great job of making great adjustments at the plate. We just looked very uncomfortable, and it was challenging. They made it tough for us. I tip my cap to them because they did a good job on the mound. They didn't walk a whole lot of guys. I think they only walked maybe 3 on the entire weekend. So, they didn't give us a whole lot of free bases. We chased a lot of pitches out of the zone, and a lot of that was because they were able to throw a lot of strikes. So, it's always going to be a challenge against when you face good pitching, and we feel like we can win 1-0, 2-1 games we just weren't able to do it, from our side on the pitching staff this weekend.
It sounds like they were doing an awful lot of backwards pitching, which normally the definition of that is you're anticipating a fastball and a fastball count, and they do something completely different. So they're pitching backwards to throw a lot of people off.
Yeah, and they had command of most of their pitches, so they were able to throw their they felt good throwing their breaking ball for strikes and fastball counts, and they really didn't give us a whole lot of easy pitches to hit, no matter what. Even some of our best hitters with no one on, they were still a lot of first pitch breaking balls, 2-0 breaking balls, and they were good pitches. They weren't just kind of floated in there. So they made it difficult on us, and that's kind of that'll be the adjustment we make the next time we play them is kind of changing our approach a little bit.
I always talk about how important the first pitch strike is, and this is the very definition of what you can do when you're ahead of the count 0-1.
Yeah, and not only did they throw those pitches, but they have plus stuff. They have above average breaking pitches and above average fastballs, so it makes it difficult. I mean, their starter, has been up to 96, 97 miles an hour. He's got a good curveball. I thought we had opportunities in all those games to kind of do some damage. We were in a bases loaded situation and we didn't score, and we make an error in a situation. They end up getting 2 runs. That was just kind of the way things went. We just played a little, kind of uncharacteristic of. You expect our group to be a little more polished, a little cleaner than we played, and I don't know if it was, just the situation or just happened to be a bad weekend, but we just didn't play as well as we played in the last, year and a half.
Dan Burtolini, the manager and the guy that runs the Youngstown State University baseball program. I don't like using the term head coach. That just to me that's not baseball. Manager, skipper, that's baseball.
Yeah, I could go by either. It doesn't matter to me. In college, they tend to call it head coach. In professional baseball, they go with the manager. So it doesn't matter to me.
Okay, you guys are taking on St. Bonaventure out of the Atlantic 10 this weekend, and you will be playing. The original schedule was Friday and Saturday. Now it's Saturday and Sunday. You got a doubleheader. Saturday, first game at 1 o'clock, second game at 4:30, and then a Sunday matchup with St. Bonaventure. That's a 12 noon start. Weather, knock on wood, is supposed to be absolutely glorious both days. This should be fun, and more importantly, it's a non-conference affair. It gets the kids an opportunity to play an environment to open up the home portion of the season where it's not a league game. And you can get the bad taste out of your mouth of last weekend by playing a non-conference opponent this weekend.
Yeah, we're really excited to get a chance to finally play a home game. It's been 16 games on the road. Anytime you get a chance to play some baseball at our home ballpark, we've historically done really well here at Eastwood Field, and we're looking forward to welcoming St. Bonaventure in. They haven't played a game yet, so don't have a great scouting report on what they're going to be able to do. This weekend's really going to be more about what we do and how we handle ourselves, and looking for some bounce back weekends from a few guys. We played Wright State last weekend. They finished the weekend. That was their 8th home game. It's definitely a big advantage in feeling comfortable in your own stadium and playing at home and sleeping in your own bed. So we're looking forward to having that this week, not having to travel. I got my suitcase packed away for a couple of weeks, which is a welcome sight, not having to be on the road. Get a good week of practice in here at Eastwood and be ready to go for the home opener on Saturday.
Yeah, you got 11 games between this weekend, next weekend, 4 games against Wright State. The following weekend, Easter weekend, you've got 4 games against UIC. So you guys won't be leaving anytime soon. The next road trip is going to be mid-April, April the 9th. You'll have a 4-gamer against Milwaukee.
Yeah, we just so happened the way the schedule worked out, we get a nice. This is a welcome break after being on the road for a while. Gives our guys a chance to kind of catch our breath. It feels like, it is challenging when you're basically just washing your clothes. You get a lot of times Tuesdays are tough days. Now this week it was a little better because we got back a little bit earlier. But a lot of times when you're coming from further away, Tuesdays are tough days. You're just, Monday's a wash. You really don't have much going on. Tuesdays you're just kind of getting back into the flow. You get one good practice on a Wednesday and then you leave on Thursday. So it is nice to be able to have a full good week of practice and then be able to wake up and guys get their own breakfast. They're getting their routine and their rhythm being at home. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, this is the long homestand. It gives you guys an opportunity to readjust and get back to a home portion of a schedule where the kids are going to be in class. They're not going to have to worry about doing homework and whatnot in between games or after a game. And let's say you're playing on a Saturday and a Sunday, and after the game on a Saturday, they're catching up on homework and assignments for that next week. It's a much different atmosphere where this homestand, hopefully. Everyone should be more comfortable, and the fact you're not traveling, you should be able to play some really, really good baseball at home.
Yeah, we're just looking forward to just kind of getting back to what we do really well. And Wright State did a good job of neutralizing that this past weekend. I didn't think, honestly, we played exceptionally well even against IPFW. I thought there were a lot of things that we needed to get better at. I don't know if that was just a product of just the way that the season's gone so far, but we weren't particularly sharp. I thought, nothing against IPFW, but I thought there were some opportunities in a lot of those games for us to break those things open and be more of a 10 to 12 run output from our offense, and we just weren't able to do it. I thought we pitched tremendously well against IPFW, but so hopefully we kind of get out of that little bit of a funk. It happens. I mean, this is baseball. Sometimes it's not that we haven't. I think we're leading the Horizon League in hits. We just haven't been, we haven't strung them together. They're kind of sporadic throughout the year. A certain guy or two will be, feeling pretty good offensively on a weekend, but we just haven't had that full offensive production. And Wright State kept us off the bases. We weren't able to really get into our offense with, really any kind of stolen bases or hit and runs or bunts, any of the kind of stuff that we like to do, the way we put pressure on them. When you get an early lead, it is difficult. So, we're going to look forward to getting off to hopefully to an early start and putting some pressure on St. Bonaventure this weekend and trying to really get into our offense.
Skip, you made mention that this will be St. Bonaventure's first game and first 3 games of the 2021 college baseball season. You guys are already 16 games in. I mean, that is a huge advantage for Youngstown State.
Yeah, you'd think, the element of surprise is always challenging. You really don't know what they have. Everyone's so different from year to year. You feel like the other thing for us that we have going is, being at Eastwood. It's just a little bit of a different environment for a lot of teams that come in here. We tend to play well here, but it's going to be, like I said before, it's going to be a lot more about what we do as a unit than really what they do. We have to really get back to what's made us successful, playing good defense, pitching at a high level, and then being able to create offense all over the field. So looking forward to that. I don't know. They have some good players. They have a really good arm. They have a preseason All-American that unfortunately hasn't gotten the bat yet. But it's very unique that them not starting. And I think they had a COVID issue last week, and there was some sort of miscommunication there. But looking forward to opening their season up against us.
Talk a little bit about what you guys do when you're home. You talk about the practice that you guys love to go up to Eastwood and do some practicing in the facilities. When you're home, how often during homestands like this, how often do you guys make that trip up to Eastwood and practice on your home field?
Every day we can. It's challenging to go back and forth. So once we decide to make the move out here to Eastwood, we pretty much stay out here no matter what the weather is. If we have to, we'll head inside the tunnels and play catch. It's just challenging to move all of our equipment out here, and then if we have to practice on campus, to move our machines, and our guys keep their equipment out here. So once we get out here, we'll be out here till the end of the season. Now we were able to get out here twice last week, which was great. Those were really the first 2 times we practiced on a baseball field, other than the day before the game or the day of the game. So it was good to get out on the field, and now we'll get a lot better here in the next couple of weeks, just being able to get on the field every day.
Listen, the Watts Center is a godsend. There's no two ways about that. Without the Watts Center, you guys would be inside a gymnasium in inclement weather, and the Watts Center is a godsend. And I don't mean anything negative by saying this, but there is nothing that is better than being out on the field and practicing on a baseball field. And when weather is like today, where there's no chance of any precipitation, you got to take advantage of those days for the northern schools, at least.
Yeah, we're going to have a short inter-squad today, which is great for some of the guys that didn't get a chance to throw much this weekend, or guys that didn't travel to get some work in. We'll be back to work. We got some video stuff out here as well, getting on our pitching machines, kind of adjusting our offense a little bit. But it's just from a space standpoint, a timing standpoint, just being real baseball, there's nothing like, being able to be out on the field and just the energy level, the excitement. It's just a whole different ballgame when you get out here and get a chance to be on the field every day.
You made mention the road in which YSU's been playing every single game on the road. It's a different feel in terms of rosters as well, because you're only allowed a certain amount of players to travel with you. Tell everyone what the home games are like roster-wise.
Well, non-conference, there's no roster limit, but in conference, it's the same. It's a 30-man roster at home and the road team. So in Horizon League play, they made that a rule this year just because of the way things have been. It's a 30-man roster, so there will be some guys that aren't on the roster. And we have a couple guys banged up, a couple injuries, as happens throughout the year. So that roster adjusts week to week. But home series now, this will be the first year they've done it where you have your restricted roster at home as well.
All right, so what are the players that don't make the 30-man roster for that particular weekend? Are they off that weekend, or are you having them doing something else?
No, they'll still be dressed and go through full practice and pregame and everything. They just won't be able to be utilized in the game.
Dan Burtolini joining us on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Dan, a couple more things before we let you go. Obviously, the start of an 11-game homestand. The last time the Penguins were at home, that was the last game, as it turns out. You guys had been beaten by Bowling Green, and then it was announced that you'd have no more baseball. So it's been a while since we've played at Eastwood Field. And this year, limited fans. So give everyone the 411 on how to get tickets and whatnot.
Yeah, so, our tickets are available at the gate. We have, just for March, there's a 900-person limitation for our home games, which typically doesn't come into effect very often. So we'll have plenty of space for people to kind of space out. Masks and social distancing will be enforced, just like everywhere else. There'll probably be some sort of limited concession stand menu until probably April. And then once April comes, it's basically, for us, it would be no issues. There'll be over 2,000 people out in the ballpark. So, but yeah, tickets are available up until, any time throughout the game. Hopefully it could work out nicely. Football's got a 12 o'clock game, so if you missed the first game of the doubleheader, you can make it out after the home football game. You can come out and check out some Penguin baseball there at about 4 o'clock when we start game number 2.
3-game series with St. Bonaventure. Which game, because there is a doubleheader, 1 o'clock and 4:30, which game is going to be the 7-inning game?
There actually won't be any 7-inning games this weekend. These will be all 9-inning games. We do that during conference play.
Okay.
Because we're only playing 3 this weekend, we wanted to give our guys a chance, everyone to have an opportunity to play as many innings as we can. So we're going to play all 9-inning games.
All right, and rotation will be whom?
Right now, it looks like Colin Ford will throw game 1. Colin Clark will throw game 2, and John Snyder will throw game 3. we'll probably do some sort of split with Clark and Perez in the second game of the doubleheader. Just trying to get Colin a little bit of a rest. He's been going pretty hard since Colin Clark, that is, since the summer, and just I think he's hitting a little bit of a wall with some fatigue. So probably give him a limited start, maybe put him on a pitch count, 30 or 40 pitches, and then we'll have Nick Perez will be the guy that'll come in his relief.
Hopefully we bounce back in a big way against St. Bonaventure again. Game 1 at 1 o'clock, Game 2 at 4:30. Both of those games will be 9-inning affairs. And then the series concludes on Sunday at 12 noon. St. Bonaventure out of the Atlantic 10 making their first appearance of the 2021 campaign. I can't believe they haven't played any baseball up until this weekend. That's weird, Skip.
Yeah, I feel bad for Larry and their program. I know that they've had some financial issues and just with COVID and everything else going on, that they have a limited schedule. I think they're only scheduled to play 36 games this year. So it's just kind of sort of the reality for some programs in college baseball that have been kind of struggling a little bit on the financial side of things with state funding and they have some crazy COVID rules that they had to stay. They're going to have to stay in Pennsylvania in order to play in Ohio because of their travel rules about going. It's not a contiguous state to New York, so you have to quarantine. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. So you just feel for them a little bit, just with the way that they've started. But once they get here, I'm not going to feel real bad for anybody. We're going to go out and try to win some baseball games.
Hey, you're on a 4-game losing streak. You don't feel bad for anybody. Yeah. This is a good way to bounce back with a 3-game sweep of St. Bonaventure. And then let's talk about getting a little retribution with Wright State coming to our place next weekend.
That sounds great.
All right, Skip. Always a pleasure, sir.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you soon.
See ya. Dan Burtolini, he is the manager of the Youngstown State University baseball program. Again, the Penguins taking on St. Bonaventure this weekend. Doubleheader on Saturday. Both of these games will be 9 innings, 1 o'clock and 4:30, and then Sunday at 12 noon. And the weather right now, knock on wood, because it's only Tuesday, and as we have mentioned, you shouldn't take anything in terms of the weather with in terms of how good the weather is going to be. I don't look at any of that stuff until Thursday. But right now, the weather is supposed to be absolutely glorious for this weekend. Low 50s for a high on Saturday, low 60s for a high on Sunday. So fingers crossed, hopefully we don't have a problem weather-wise this weekend. Youngstown State hosting St. Bonaventure in a doubleheader. Coach made mention about this, or the Skip made mention about this. Youngstown State football team playing South Dakota on Saturday at 12 noon at Stambaugh. Unlike the baseball team, there are no tickets available day of the game for the football team. In order to get tickets to watch the Penguins play football, you have to get your tickets prior to Saturday, and you can go to ysusports.com, and they will certainly help you out. But the tickets for the game at Eastwood Field, there are going to be tickets available for the game, day of the game, at Eastwood Field, as the Penguins welcome in St. Bonaventure at Eastwood Field. The first of a 3-game series with St. Bonaventure this Saturday, a doubleheader on Saturday, single game on Sunday, and then a 4-game series next weekend at home against Wright State, and then another home series the following weekend against UIC. So the Penguins are going to be home for 11 consecutive games, and hopefully we'll have great weather all 11 of those games. All right, take a timeout, open up the phone lines, 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Back in a bit.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, do yourself a favor. Check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. You certainly want to do that before you put pen to paper and sign your life away, whether it be a lease or whether it be a 6 or a 7-year loan, car loan, of course. You definitely want to check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Give them an opportunity to earn your business. You will not be disappointed. That I promise you. All right, a lot of things going on in the National Football League. This is day number 2 of the tampering phase. Man, I don't understand any of this. We get the tampering phase, and now we're going to do the free agency. And by the way, we're open up for business. Thursday we're open up for business. Well, then let the deals happen on Thursday. Then everything is leaked out in the. In a hilarious kind of a way. There's lots of stuff going on. We made mention that the Steelers were in a very precarious situation with the salary cap, and especially that they brought back Ben Roethlisberger. The hope is for the Steelers that they're going to be able to make one more run in a deep playoff run and try to get one more Super Bowl before they break up the band. And my prediction is this is probably going to be it for their general manager. He signed a deal yesterday, and Kevin Colbert's contract is up after the 2022 NFL draft. My thought is this is probably it for him, where they will I think it's interesting that his contract is up immediately after the 2022 draft. So my guess is Colbert is going to be the GM. He's going to take and guide the Steelers through the rest of this year, the offseason, get everyone situated with the free agency. Not that they're going to be doing a lot of free agent moves because they're in salary cap hell right now. But more importantly, get everything situated for the draft. And then if you're a Steeler fan, you hope and pray that the Steelers can get into the playoffs, make a deep playoff run in a perfect world, hoist a Super Bowl trophy, Ben retires, Colbert retires, and you start a new phase of football in Pittsburgh. Whether or not that's going to happen, look, I mean, yes, the Steelers were 11-0 going into their losing skid where they dropped their final 5 games. Or actually, I think they wound up 12-4. Then they lost the first round game to the Browns. You can look at this two different directions, and I think it's valid on both sides. By the way, you can sit back and honestly say this is a Steelers team that went 12-4 in the regular season. Oh, by the way, they didn't have a bye week. That is 100% accurate. They did not have the normal bye week that every NFL team gets. They didn't get that bye week because of COVID, mainly because of the Tennessee Titans and the despicable way the NFL handled all of that, but I digress. So the Steelers really didn't get a bye week last year. So I think a lot of folks are looking at this. If you're a Steelers fan, you're looking at the positive side of things. Hey, this team was 11-0 before the proverbial crap hit the fan, and then things started going a little sideways for about 3 or 4 weeks. They got it back together again. They go 12-4, but then lose to the Browns. Yeah, I mean, this is still a pretty solid Steelers team. Now, unfortunately, the Steelers are going to be losing and have already lost Bud Dupree. He's now in Tennessee, just signed a deal with the Tennessee Titans. Now, I mean, look, is it a huge loss for the Steelers? I think it is, but you can also make the argument that even though it is a loss, the fact that when Dupree went down with the knee injury, you did get a slight taste of what life will be like without him, and I think that the Steelers, they were okay. They did, they did okay. It's not like their defense completely collapsed. They have some talent on this team, so I don't think that they're in as bad a shape as some of the naysayers would say. Although I don't think they're in nearly the shape that some of the Steeler fans think that they are. I think it's somewhere in between. In other words, they're not as good as the 11-0 record from last year, but they're not nearly as bad as the 1-5 finish. They're somewhere in between. Now, are they good enough to win the division? I think a lot of things would have to go their way. But I think that they're certainly right there with Baltimore and Cleveland. Again, I don't know if I don't know if I would put them in first place with the three teams. I don't know if I mean, now, and obviously the draft is going to be the second part of all of this, and clearly we're still a long ways away from knowing where everyone is going to be, what everyone has, because free agency has not, I mean, it has started, but we haven't even gotten into the NFL draft, and where the Steelers, which I believe are going to do quite well, they normally do in the NFL draft. So I want to see what happens when everything is finally put into place in terms of where this team is going to be. Add into the fact that we're now playing a 17th game. Add into the fact they're playing a 17th game. I think things are going to be interesting. As of right now, would I put the Steelers ahead of Baltimore? Probably not. Would I put the Steelers ahead of Cleveland? I don't know. This is going to be a fun. It's going to be a fun off season. It'll be a very fun off season to see what happens. But unfortunately for the Steelers, because the salary cap situation that they're in, they just they got two guys that are retired now. Pouncey is retired, and so is Edwards, their tight end. They're probably going to be losing Villanueva. They're probably going to be losing Smith-Schuster. Now, I don't think that Juju is going to be as big a loss as some other people would say. Matter of fact, I honestly think that the Steelers have enough talent in the receiving core that the loss of Smith-Schuster won't be as large as what a lot of naysayers would lead you to believe. If you can continue to get Roethlisberger healthy, and that means that you're going to have to get your offensive line improving dramatically, and getting a replacement for Pouncey, getting a replacement for Villanueva. That offensive line has gotten old. They got to get some replacements in there, and I think that the Steelers will do well in the draft. We'll see. Do I think this team is a playoff team? I do. I think the Steelers are a playoff team. Do I think they can go deep into the playoffs? That remains to be seen. There's going to be an awful lot of improvement with some teams. I think Cleveland just got themselves improved by getting Johnson, the safety from the Los Angeles Rams. I think that he makes the defensive secondary a whole lot better. We'll see what they can do in terms of getting a pass rusher, because most, if not all, of the pass rushers are pretty much gone. Now, that doesn't mean that you're SOL, because there are a couple of teams that could very well be trading away some of their pass rushing help. Minnesota comes to mind. They have a kid, Hunter, out of Minnesota, that is a double-digit sack machine artist, and he may very well be on the move. That's a situation where you might see this guy going somewhere. But Cleveland, they were talking about getting a pass rusher in free agency. Well, that doesn't appear to be the case. J.J. Watt's gone. Carl Lawson, last night, he signed a contract. The former Bengal is now a member of the New York Jets. By the way, the New York Jets have they've put together a couple of pretty nice pieces with the mucho dinero that they had with the salary cap. They've done, at least on paper, they've done pretty well for themselves. One thing I'd like to see the National Football League do, especially now that we're embarking on a 17th game, and that is going to happen this year. I'd like to see, and I don't think it's going to happen this year, but I would like to see at some point the National Football League make the decision that is long overdue, and that's this. When it comes to the bye, it should not be 3 or 4 arbitrarily chosen teams. It should be an entire division. Because by doing that, you give every single team in that division the exact same bye, where nobody is getting, nobody's going to have a bye early in the year and late in the year. Everyone's going to have a bye at the exact same time. And I think that the NFL could do that and should do that. And it should be 1 week an AFC division, another week an NFC division. As everyone pretty much knows by now, the 4 o'clock games, they alternate. 1 week CBS will have the 4 o'clock game. Another week Fox will have the 4 o'clock game with the NFC coverage. And I think that the NFL should have an entire division from one of the conferences do the bye week. So and let's say the bye week starts in week 4. So the first 3 weeks of the season, everybody's playing, whether it be the Sunday games, the Monday Night Football, or the god-awful, I need to get rid of, but nobody will because it's all about money, Thursday Night Football games. So you have 3 weeks worth of everybody playing football, and then the bye weeks start in week number 4. And you have weeks 4 through 11. You'll have a bye week. One division will have a bye week starting in week 4, and week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Weeks 4 through week 11, everyone's got a bye week. And then week 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, you have your football. Because there's going to be a 17th game. So you'll extend the season 1 week. But I think with the 17th game, do you start the bye week in week 4? Do you wait and start the bye week on week number 5? Who knows? That's an NFL decision. But I think what needs to be done, and for a fairness, the National Football League should, when they do the bye weeks, they should have the entire division, a particular division, whether it be the AFC East 1 week, the NFC East another week, the AFC South 1 week, the NFC North another week. And just you go back and forth, AFC 1 week, NFC another week, and you alternate back and forth until all the divisions are now done with. So that's like 8 weeks. Because there's 4 divisions in each conference. So it would be 8 weeks worth of each division getting a bye, and you'd have a bye for 8 straight weeks. I think it would work out perfectly. More importantly, the divisional teams would have their bye in the exact same week. So everyone is literally on the same path. Where you would play, let's say everyone gets their bye week on week 9. You would play week 1 through week 8. Week 9 is your bye week. 10 through 17, or in this case 10 through 18, would be the rest of your games. I think it would work out perfectly. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Open for business. Play-in games for the NCAA tournament coming up on Thursday. 2 games will be in West Lafayette. 2 games will be in Bloomington. 5 arenas will be housing the NCAA tournaments until the Final Four. And then the 6th arena, Lucas Oil Stadium, will have the Final Four, the two national semifinal games on Saturday, April the 3rd, and the national championship game on Monday, April the 5th. The tournament itself will be in 5 different arenas spread throughout suburban, the metropolitan Indianapolis area. 3 of these arenas are actually in Indianapolis. Hinkle Fieldhouse, where Butler University is. Butler is in Indianapolis. Indiana Farmers Coliseum, that's where the Horizon League played their games. This is the refurbished home of the old Indiana Pacers in the ABA. That was the league that had the red, white, and blue basketball. That was the league that basically stole some players from the NBA, and it was a really good, really, really good league. Unfortunately, the ABA did not have a national television contract, and they weren't long without that television contract. And I guess in the mid-70s, about 75, 76, somewhere in that vicinity, the ABA was finally disintegrated, and they had a ABA draft where NBA teams were able to pick up the ABA players. I think there were 3 or 4 teams that were picked up from the ABA and put into the NBA. Anyway, the Indiana Farmers Coliseum is going to be one of the places, and Bankers Life Fieldhouse. That's where the Indiana Pacers of today play their games. The other 2 arenas, Assembly Hall in Bloomington, just outside of Indianapolis, and Mackey Arena, that's where Purdue plays their home games in West Lafayette, again, just outside of Indianapolis. So the 5 arenas will be playing all of the NCAA tournament games from the play-in games this Thursday through the Elite 8 games on March the 30th, and then everyone goes to Lucas Oil Stadium, the Final Four teams. Who knows who the Final Four will be. I'm sure Gonzaga, being that they're undefeated, is going to get an awful lot of play. I haven't even figured out who I'm going to be doing yet in terms of who's going to win the tournament. I haven't even filled out a bracket yet. Terrible, but I have to do some homework before I do. But anyway, the Final Four, Saturday, April the 3rd, Monday, April the 5th. Those 3 games will be played at Lucas Oil Stadium, the home of the Indianapolis Colts. So there you go. All right, we'll take another timeout. Be back with more. It's a Tuesday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Winds is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
Save more during the Extra Mile Auto Show with employee pricing for everyone on some of our most popular models. Plus, get an additional $1,000 on the value of your trade. Schedule a test drive today to experience the 2021 lineup for yourself.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer goes the extra mile to bring you the largest selection of vehicles at one convenient location. With guaranteed credit approval, I will find you the right vehicle and the right financing options for you. I am ready to go the extra mile to show you why no other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Your first and last stop with your tax return should be with me, Tracy Bryden at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. No other dealer sells more cars, finances more, and gets you more for your refund than Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Bad credit, no problem. I can get you approved for a low-interest loan and maybe even a low-payment lease on a new car at the #1 Chevy dealership in Trumbull County for 3 years in a row. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved or come see me, Tony Page, to get a new vehicle today. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. Cincinnati Bengals have just stolen away one of the interdivisional rival players. Former Steelers cornerback, Mike Hilton, has a brand new home. The Bengals have signed the former Steeler to a deal. They are also looking to add Trey Hendrickson. He is a pass rusher. I believe they picked him up yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And it's interesting because he is essentially replacing Carl Lawson. And the Bengals could have very easily paid Lawson what Hendrickson is getting because Lawson's a better player. So a little weird that the Bengals went that direction, but they just picked off former Steeler DB Mike Hilton. So the Cincinnati defense getting a little frisky as they let Carl Lawson walk, which I think was a big mistake. Lawson's a better pass rusher than Hendrickson is, but nonetheless. The Bengals replace Carl Lawson with Trey Hendrickson, and they get their secondary improved a little bit by getting Mike Hilton from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati. The Bengals are going to be interesting to watch, especially when you go into the NFL draft. If the Bengals really do well in this draft, they're not that far out from making some noise in the AFC North. They're really not that far off. But they're the Bengals. That's why I don't know if this franchise is smart enough to have a really, really good NFL draft. But if they do, man, they're not that far away. They really aren't. All right, Pittsburgh Penguins hockey team in action tonight against the Boston Bruins. We're one day closer tomorrow, I should say, to the NCAA basketball tournament. That should be an awful lot of fun. Also, tomorrow we will hear from our golfing guru, Brian Tolnar, as we will be even closer as we celebrate St. Paddy's Day tomorrow. What is it, next weekend? Is the plan for Mill Creek to be open? I'll tell you this. Sunday, I walked the cart path on the north course. It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. That course looks really, really nice. We'll talk with Brian Tolnar about that. That is coming up tomorrow. We will also have a little bit of fun with Anthony. I don't think Anthony's ready to give out his Final Four predictions yet. Neither am I, for that matter. I haven't even filled out a bracket yet. That's how behind I am. Hopefully we'll get all that stuff accomplished. Thursday is the play-in games. Friday the tournament starts for real. We're not going to be on the air doing Running Point on Friday, but there's going to be multiple cameras in our headquarters as we're going to be watching March Madness. Got a crud load of TVs in HQ here at YSN, and we're going to have a blast watching the tournament all day Friday. And we certainly invite you to do the same by going to ysnlive.com. All right, that'll do it for the Tuesday edition of Running Point. We'll be back tomorrow, noon to 3, Running Point on YSN.